Is there any, additions to the agenda?
Madam Chair, I have none.
Okay. If not, then let's make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
A second?
Second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment? Donnie's here on time tonight. Nothing? All right. Presentation of check from Centerpoint Energy. Sherry Munson.
Yes, you want me to?
Sure.
Go here?
You have to turn the microphone on.
Huh?
You have to turn the microphone on.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, can you hear me?
Sure.
Is it on?
Yep. No, maybe not.
No. There.
Now it's on. Okay. Hi, my name is Sherry Munson. I'm from Centerpoint Energy. The Community Partnership Grant Program offers an opportunity for Centerpoint Energy to partner with cities we serve. We have partnered with communities supporting our shared commitment to safety while delivering safe, reliable natural gas for over 145 years. Since 2003, the program has exceeded $1.38 million in donations and helped support the funding of nearly 700 projects in communities throughout the company's service area. Through the grant program, we are able to help cities leverage local funds to purchase needed safety equipment or support safety projects that are important to your community. I am pleased to present the City of Mayor with a community partnership grant for $2,500 that will be used to purchase 3 portable radios and a 6-bank charger. Thank you.
Thank you.
And can I give this to Rod, or do I need to give this check to somebody else?
Lois.
Probably,
To Lois.
yeah.
Oh, you can give it to him first. He can give it to me.
Okay. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Okay, consent agenda. 4.1, approval of the minutes for the May 26, 2015 regular council meeting. 4.2, approval of the minutes for the May 26, 2015 work session meeting. 4.3, approval of the minutes for the April 7th planning commission meeting. 4.4, approval of claims for the month of June. 4.5, approval of pay request number 2 for Hesselton Construction in the amount of $62,577.65. 4.6, approval of the check summary for the month of May. 4.7, approval of Resolution 6-8-2015-22, baseball club donations. 4.8, approval of the building permit report for the month ending May 2015. And 4.9, approval of the fire department report for the month ending May 2015. Is there anything that needs to be pulled from the consent agenda? Any questions? If not, let's have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. City admin.
Madam Chair, council members, the city had authorized Ehlers and Associates to sell $975,000 in bonds on behalf of the city at the May 11th, 2015 council meeting. The funds are going to be used in the following manner: $425,000 for the roundabout project, $190,000 for the water tower rehabilitation project, $316 in equipment certificates for the fire truck. The city also completed another Standard & Poor's bond rating for the bonds, and the bond rating documents are attached. We had completed one last June when we did some reissuance of bonds, some refunding of bonds, and at that time the city was able to secure a AA stable rating. On May 28th, the city completed the bond call for these bonds with Standard & Poor, and we were able to maintain our AA stable rating for the issuance also. I thought Todd was going to be here tonight, but Todd isn't here. Nick from Ehlers and Associates will be here tonight to present the bidding on the bond documents, and and ask for your approval on the resolution, so.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, acting mayor.
Yeah, right.
Nick Anhud with Ellers and Associates. And with that introduction, actually in front of each of you there is a packet of information that summarizes the results of the bids that we did receive this morning. I plan to stick to the inside cover sheet where there is a little bit more detailed view, but if you do have any questions about any of the results, there are the actual bids on page 3, the full debt schedules and sources and uses on 4 and 5, and then, as mentioned, Standard & Poor's rating evaluation is included in the back of the packet for your information. We did receive bids, 2 bids this morning from Northland Securities, an outfit out of Minneapolis, as well as United Bankers Bank, who is a outfit out of Bloomington, Minnesota. They both bid on your bonds, with Northland coming in with the low bid at 2.26%. The cover bid from United Bankers Bank was actually very close at 2.28%. On the inside summary sheet, you see that we show the difference between the 2 bids, what they actually amount to. That slight difference in the interest rate amounts to just under $1,600 over the term of the bond. So it makes a difference, but it is fairly close between the 2. Quick summary of the results. We did not receive any substantial premium or discount bids. These sometimes the bids that we allow increase the amount of bonds that they're asking to purchase. They'll actually ask to give you more money in face value for the bonds in exchange for applying a higher interest rate to it, sort of a one-for-one trade-off. There really wasn't any of those major fluctuations, so they'll actually keep the amount of principal needed in order to finance the 3 projects as mentioned. There is a slight amount, about $11,000, and the end result, you'll actually receive about $8,000 more deposited to your accounts for use in those projects. But all in all, fairly close to what was anticipated. The underwriter's discount, which is the amount that Northland, if you were to award this bid, that's the amount that they'll take home from that transaction in pocket, amounted to just under $16,000. The rest of the cost of issuance associated with that amounted to $35,000. That's Standard & Poor's fees, Ellers fees, your bond attorney's fees, paying agent, and the like. Overall, the true interest cost at 2.26% is higher than what was presented to you in our pre-sale report. It's about just over 10 basis points, or 0.1% higher. We have seen some market fluctuation in the month of May in particular. I think we presented these, or at least the rates that we presented to you were based on April 30th at the time. Since then, we have seen the market go up a little bit, come back down, and then go up again. There is some instability as far as predicting that information, but overall, I'd say, given where we're at today, 2.26% is very favorable, and it definitely relies on your AA rating to achieve that level. So kudos to you in maintaining that with Standard & Poor's. I'd be happy to answer any questions as to their evaluation too this evening. Bottom line, the action in front of you this evening is to award the bid to Northland Securities. With that award, I will go ahead and coordinate with Todd as well as your bond attorney to go ahead and prepare all the closing documents. We'll fill out the rest of that resolution that's in front of you and get set for a closing date on July 1st. That's when Northland will actually wire the funds to the city so that you'll have funding for the 3 projects. With that said, I'd be happy to answer any of the council or anyone else's questions this evening, but very good results, and Ellers definitely recommends that you award the bid to the low bidder received, who is Northland Securities.
Does anybody have anything? So this is coming back next meeting filled out.
No, you just pass on that resolution.
This is what we pass on, and then
Yeah.
they just fill it out.
They'll fill in
Okay.
all the information that needs to be.
Correct. Your bond attorney prepared that resolution in advance of the meeting, in advance of receiving the
Okay.
proposals this morning, so.
So this is actually the resolution. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve Resolution 6-8-2015-21, providing for the issuance and sale of $975,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2015A?
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carried.
Madam Chair, if we could just have you sign just this document that it approves the sale, so that he can take it back with him. So it's going to Northland Securities.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. All right, 5.2, approval of movie screen for movie in the park, July 11th. It's back.
Madam Chair, council members, city council had instructed staff to further research the possibility of purchase of a movie screen. Staff found movie screens for $249 and $299. Staff would propose using the city's projector and laptop and borrowing speakers from Tom Stifter. The screen that was presented to you for rental at the last meeting included the projector, laptop, and speakers in the cost. The same is true for the purchase of that screen that was presented earlier for $2,799, included the whole system. So with that, staff would recommend the purchase of the movie screen, but I understand that, Councilmember, Stephen McPadden has some other information that she wants to present to you also.
I don't know if it's other information, it's more just, a little bit of history on some of the questions we had last time. The $3,700 that we had in the Park Board CIP plan, for this purchase was for, a large screen. I believe it was like 16 foot. And then also a projector, a DVD player, and the speakers. I did a little research, and I think I came up with kind of the same, screen that Luann had on hers. Only the whole system, the one on the top there, I think. The whole system was $26,900. I'm gonna ask that council, after discussion or whatever, make a motion to, approve the park board to purchase the whole system so that we don't have to borrow speakers from the residents. We don't ruin anything that's anybody else's. And that mostly so that they all talk to each other, because technology changes, and I want a system that will work together. So that's what my recommendation would be. I'd like to see the approval for about $22,700 for the whole system. The one that I looked at was a 16 to 20 foot screen. I don't know what Luann has on hers. I just think it's the wiser decision.
It's 2,000, excuse me, if you could, once more say how much, $2,699
$99.
$99.99, or?
No, just $99 is what, so $2,700. The park board hasn't talked about this yet or met, other than, last month. And initially, when we put it in our capital improvement plan as to, purchase the whole system. They do plan on using it several times a year. They wanna try to start getting some movies in the park going, things like that. So, it's $1,000 less than what we have in our CIP, and I just think it's a better way to do it than piecing it all together, and, or certainly not renting one
So
at
is it like
$1,000.
you buy the packet, it's like a package deal, so they all communicate together?
Yeah, they'll all communicate together.
Like, does the screen, like, this looks like you
like, have to put it in the ground? What does your screen look like? Is it like a blow-up, or?
No, I stayed away from the blow-up ones, just because now you gotta run a motor, and then when you know, you let the air out of things, it doesn't always, all the air is still in it. So I leaned toward the ones that you put together. But they do come with these storage things that they just fold right into. They're not very big, once you fold everything up and put it.
Was there reviews on this package at all?
I did a lot of research. I'm not sure exactly. That company probably had good reviews. I found them on Amazon and in some other searches that I did.
And you have it in your CIP
Mhm.
as something to purchase this year?
Yes, we did. For $3,700. So for $1,000 more.
And this is like just double what the rental was, so.
You use it twice, you gotta pay for it.
Yep. And we planned on using it for
National
this,
Night
National
Out,
Night Out, the
Rising
movie in the
Community
park.
Festival.
And then,
hopefully we'll have some, availability to do some, you can do movies in the winter inside.
mhm. Would there ever be an option, I don't know anything about, if somebody runs the community center, if this would be something that they could also, I mean, I know it takes staff to set it
Mhm.
up or do things like that, but is that even,
It shouldn't take that much to set it up.
like if, I wanted to rent it for a birthday party or something and watch a movie in the winter, I'm
Yep.
just trying to give different ways we can utilize this throughout the year to also make it worth the while and also
have to
affect
look
the
at those-
community.
Yeah, we'd have to look at those copyright things. I mean, for someone to do that,
Oh, right.
I would say
You'd
that,
have to
I
pay.
think you can show movies at your house. But I would say this would have to stay here, and then you're looking at a rental for here,
And
and,
then, okay, I don't know those kind of details.
yeah,
Just trying to think of other ways
sure,
that-
to use it.
But even if, the fire, like the auxiliary, sometimes we have, we put together
Yep.
an event and we can use it for a
Mhm.
presenter to use their material.
Yep, they have DVDs and stuff, or CDs that they come with, instructional materials and stuff you could use it for.
Is it like a projector like that where you could hook a computer
Yes,
into it
yep,
so that they could bring their laptop and
yep.
project it, and it's better than using that flat wall over here?
Yeah. Or a sheet. So,
Do you wanna see this?
I don't know, I watched some, I started piecing it together too,
What-
and then I
What
just
was the
gave up
size
on that.
again?
16 to 20 foot.
16 to 20, it gets bigger if you need it to get bigger, or?
I believe they gave you an option of which screen you wanted. I didn't call them, 'cause I didn't want to do that just yet. It has to be approved here, but it looked like the same price for both. I did watch some DVD, or some, videos of it being put together, and it looks like it's a one-person job until they string the screen, and then it's a two-person. String the screen onto the frame.
And then it stays on the frame then? Do we have a place to store it?
No, we take it down then, and
Okay.
it's stored inside of a case, a carrying case.
So if we prove the money now,
Mhm.
then, but that's not necessarily the one, that's a good opportunity, but then the park board would then look and see which one they're actually purchasing, if that's not the one.
Sure, if
their
that's
reviews are
not the one
bad
they
or-
want, yep. If someone has a better one, a better deal.
Sorry, other people have questions?
That's all right. So, I would call for a motion to approve for the park board to buy the, screen with all of the components that, show the movies and the instructional materials, in the amount of $2,700. Dollars. Okay, I see why you asked that, Lois, 'cause Luann had a different price than my screen.
Well, no, you said 269 is what you said, or something like that.
2699.
We're trying to-
Then I said, so
Get
like
that close.
$2,700, it was $1 difference, so.
The last one that I had, that whole system was $2,799.99.
Yeah, it's
And then, and then there's shipping, and is there some
No
way you
shipping.
can get,
no shipping and we don't pay tax.
And then what about would we have to vote on that if we, let's say we went through with this and then to get that $300 for
To rent the movie,
the movie, that would come at the next meeting then probably?
it could.
Or I have authority to do it,
Okay.
I can send out a tomorrow. If the park board decides tomorrow night on a title, I might need to be ordering it so we can get it.
Mhm.
Right, 'cause I'm just thinking about timing too, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a month away too.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Any further discussion?
Does anybody talk to you like Waconeas that they use for their screens and all, or?
Their screens,
Yeah.
when they
Their
do,
I talked to the city of Carver, that's how I found this Twilight Zone, this is who Carver used, when they did their movie in the park, that rental, that's what I.
does Waconia do movies in the park?
They do. Sure.
Probably own their own screen.
And then, does anybody know about the lifetime of the bulb and how much the bulbs are? Like, even
On the
like
projector?
On the projector, even like these ones, like the one we have, I know that they're pretty expensive to replace it, and
Mhm.
they're only good for several $100, but.
Then it should last a very long time.
Last council meeting, we were talking about buying the screen and possibly using city stuff. Was that not an option, or when you looked into that?
We talked about renting a screen, and the rental was $1,100, and then that's when you guys got into the discussion about renting it was so much more money that you didn't wanna rent, or, rent it.
Well, it'd only take 3 times the pay for it
Right.
if we rented it.
Right, that was one.
So we looked at buying the screen.
Right, which was the whole thing, it wasn't just the screen, Bruce, it was everything, it was a screen, it was a projector, it was everything,
But that was only,
$2,700.
11.
It was
11.
$1,100 to rent it, and then it was $2,700 to, buy it,
The whole system.
the whole system.
okay, we were looking at renting the whole system, not just the screen.
Right, we were looking,
Okay.
so the $1,100 was to rent the whole thing for one night.
Okay. I was confused, 'cause I thought we
Yeah.
were talking about the screen, not the whole projection system. So, okay.
And again, if you start putting money into the screens, oh gosh, the screens. I had one that was, well, the screen is about half the price. If you buy, oh, right here it is. Just the screen alone, $1,100.
Mhm.
So, then you buy, it has to have speakers, and decent ones. These things are designed for outdoor use. I don't know what we have. You have to buy something that people can hear at a decent distance. As far as using the city's laptop, I just don't wanna do that. For a lot of reasons, I just don't think, I'd like to just see the DVD designated to playing the movies and not use the city's laptop.
So this includes a DVD player?
Mhm.
'Cause the projector doesn't, it just
It just projects
projects
it.
it, but you could, okay, got it.
So then you could use some of your home DVDs.
But not to the public, but you could,
Not to the public,
right. You could
In
have
the
a party
event
and
that-
use your,
so, okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We'll take it to the park board and see what they say. 5.3, approval of ordinance 200, amending the sign ordinance number 188.
Madam Chair, council members, if you recall, we had an issue with the sign at 109 Ash Avenue North. So this amendment is to the sign ordinance, it's designed to address any obscene or indecent signs that could be displayed in Mayor. State statute referring to public morals or decency is stated, so the city does not have to recreate the definition, and this can be kind of a touchy subject. Planning Commission voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the text amendment. So you have the, ordinance in front of you. The city attorney did weigh in and make a couple of changes to it, so, planning commission is recommending, approval of the text amendment, it says ordinance number 200. Staff's requesting approval also.
So this is what it would be, this is what it would say right here.
It's added in, yep, to
Okay.
the sign ordinance, it amends that section of the sign ordinance.
So it's the no sign shall contain statements, words, pictures, or drawings that of your nature or character as defined by.
In the code statute, yep. That's what would get it added. Number 13, to subsection 1, section 1.
But the rest of 617.241, that was already in there, right? Or that, we didn't have any of that?
That's in the state statute.
We didn't have any of that in our,
I don't know if we didn't refer to it in, must not have referred to it in our sign ordinance.
okay,
And so now we are referring to it.
okay. So there was nothing in that sign ordinance about obscene?
No.
Ah, interesting.
I think the attorney also clarified by adding that section, it took out the language regarding, remember what that was, Glenn?
No, I wasn't there. Because it gets into, does it get into the free speech and some of that?
There was, you remember what it was, Don?
I can't quite think of it right now, it's on the tip of my tongue, it had something to do with it.
The text amendment,
By referring to the state statute, it took the language out of there that
right,
could have been argued, so.
okay. No, I get that,
I'm
okay.
sorry, I don't remember exactly what the wording was.
It's just a couple of words, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the attorney has looked at it and made the recommendation, so is there a motion to approve, the ordinance number 200, amending the sign ordinance 188?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Discussion on community solar garden, RFP and Met Council.
Madam Chair, council members, staff attended an informational meeting about an opportunity for the city to participate in community solar garden RFP with the Metropolitan Council. This community solar subscriber collaborative is a joint effort of the metro cities and counties to participate in a single RFP process. If the city of Mayor wants to participate in cooperation with the Metropolitan Council and the other local governments, the city will need to submit a letter of intent to the Metropolitan Council. Once the RFPs are received, then a core of individuals will evaluate the RFPs and rank them. Local units of government that sent letters of intent will be entered into a lottery for the available gardens, and local units will be drawn from the lottery. If the city is drawn from the lottery, then the city will enter into a subscription agreement with one of the solar garden providers. How this process is different is that the RFPs will assure that all services that the city is receiving are the same. There's more detail, I attached more detail about how the process is executed, but they've gone through and finally defined an RFP so that when the solar garden providers, then they are giving them all the same information, is what they're doing. So, like when we have one coming in now next June 22nd, there could be something just a little bit different to what he's presenting compared to the previous one. This will assure that they're all the same. Anytime we have the right to withdraw from the solar garden RFP process, I'm requesting direction from the city on whether you want to enter into a letter of intent with, Met Council and metro cities that are entering this RFP process. And they've been at it for about 6 months, just defining the RFP.
So by enter into a subscription agreement, that means that we don't have to build a garden. We're just going to accept the solar energy, or the energy from the garden, that the garden generates. So we don't have to provide any land or have a garden here.
However, you may want to wait, because we do have that other company coming in on June 22nd, and they would pay us, I believe, some rent for the land. So then that further complicates it again.
Because we're in an agreement with Met Council and...
Well, we can put a letter of intent in, just like we did with SunShare. That doesn't commit us to them. That's, the letter of intent just, it's non-committal. It just says we're interested, that's all it says.
So there must be, see, I'm new to this solar, so there's lots of companies now. SunShare's just one of them, one's coming in on the 22nd. So the Met Council saw that this is going on and probably is defining this RFP to help cities.
Well, correct, Hennepin County is the one that led the charge and then got Met Council involved because of the city. But they had all these solar providers coming in with proposals to them, and they thought, how do I know if one is the same as the other one, am I getting the same? So that's why they decided to go through a procurement or RFP process to be assured that they will all be the same that they receive. And you can do nothing too, if that's what you want to do. One of the reasons that there's so many of these solar companies out there is there's a 30% tax credit through 2016. And so they're all pushing and pushing because they wanna hurry up and get that tax credit when it drops to 10% in 2017. And that was one of the concerns that the gal from Hennepin County brought up too, is that, you know, they're pushing this, but what are we getting? Are we getting are we getting the same thing from all of them?
Mhm.
So.
In studying these, you know, there's that grant to get that money, they're getting paid to build these.
Yes.
Who's getting paid the most, who's gonna give you the best deal? And I tend to look at this pretty close, because now we got Med Council stepping in here, and Med Council's gonna look at it, and Med Council can actually make money, just like these other companies are gonna make money off trying to build these. But we need to know what we're getting ourselves into. Is the county gonna allow these in the 7-county metro area?
I don't know if the county, Carver County, I don't know.
You know, I know there's one, I think there's one going in down at, around Carver.
There's one in Wright County outside of Monticello.
Mhm.
And there's
Monticello or Montrose?
Monticello, because we were at this meeting, because it created issues for them, and that's why I brought it to the planning commission, was Jerry and I were at that other meeting that GTS put on, and they talked about how they're putting them right outside the city limits, and it's creating growth issues for the community, so how can we
Yeah, there's one,
plan?
I think
There
there's
might be
one
one
going
in
in
Montrose.
Montrose.
There could be.
There's already one in Glencoe being built. So, I guess I hesitate a little bit knowing that I'm subsidizing.
Blanco's is McLeod Power,
Yeah, I think it's tied to McLeod Power.
they put it up.
The one that I know of going out here on Highway 7 is right next to the substation on Highway 7, so, and I did hear that a household